So in this great course, I presented degrowth as a combination. First, as a combination of concerns, like these are the sources, the roots of degrowth. And there is the voluntary simplicity, the justice, democracy, ecology, and anti-utilitarism, physical decay, the fact that resources, the availability of resources reduces, and so this is a concern. If we look at the history of degrowth, on one hand, there is the history of these different sources. On the other hand, there is which is very old, like for example from the Greeks, there were already concerns about voluntary simplicity, and it was already expressed, and especially by Diogenes. And there is more recently the idea of combining all these roots, all these concerns in a movement, and this started much later. And so in the course I presented first how the different history of the sources are intertwined, how we have these different, how people actually touches to different concerns through the different sources. I don't know if I go more in detail, because there are lots of actors and lots of authors, lots of the earliest one is certainly the voluntary simplicity, which and after what is very interesting is that from this multiplicity of sources, really you can see that we can't talk of degrowth as an ideology, really, because it's about understanding, and everybody starts from a different entry point, but it's about understanding the others in the same time. So that's why there are different definitions. They cannot be really a flag of degrowth. And in spite of the diversity, and in fact, in spite of the fact that it's very important to combine the different sources, there is the attack on degrowth always by restricting on one issue, one concern, and that's what I was explaining, that actually this is an unfair attack, because the principle itself, started in Lyon, from activists and so on. It's very difficult to make it short, actually. Okay, now I talked of the different aspects that need to be combined. It's very important to combine, for example, if we would do bioeconomy without thinking of the meaning of life, we would make it would be a very problematic project. So we need to combine. We need to combine justice with the search for degrowth in general. If not, we could create new borders on excluding people. It's just a few examples of the very importance of combining. But then also, it's very fundamental to think of the different strategy that exists, which is in the same time strategy of opposition, strategy of developing alternative, of disseminating, and these are part also of the different varieties of the degrowth. think in general, on what is done in this course, like the development of the research, enable us to understand this link between the different sources. So I developed a little bit more one of the aspects, which is the importance of openness, on the idea of open localism, and this idea that if we wouldn't take into account the justice aspect, we could create localism is an important proposal of degrowth, and if justice was not important, we could create some kind of closed localism. And the idea now is to actually include this concern in the project. But it also cannot stand alone. So there is also this idea that different proposals, for example, the one of open borders, or needs to stand with other proposals in order to also make sense. And this is the idea of combination of dimensions, of proposals of degrowth. And this we can well understand with explaining a narrative, a story of degrowth. And this story of degrowth is in opposition to another narrative, and is completely occulted. People are not aware that it could exist, because the main narratives are the one of neoliberalism, with this idea that, well, entrepreneurs will save us from the crisis, and we need in the present time to make austerity measures in order to get rid of all the inefficient, maybe degrowing part of the economy. And is also in opposition to the Keynesian idea, and that okay, state needs to invest even more in the new infrastructure. So I presented a narrative around housing, and because the absence of story that explain how could the different proposals on degrowth following and the different that stem from the different concerns that I expressed before, how we miss storylines that link them, and I find this very important. What else? Yeah, that makes degrowth like a very special project, where actually the reductionism is not possible, and that's my main message, is that we cannot reduce only with one concern, one type of action, one type of proposal. We need actually a combination, and so we cannot. It would be a really wrong project to make a reductionist degrowth. I would like to develop more. I have only a short time. Thank you.